Trump just got absolutely roasted by Jack Black, and it's the verbal body slam nobody saw coming. The Tenacious D frontman traded his guitar for a flamethrower and burned Trump like a marshmallow at a campfire. Meanwhile, Melania is reportedly so stunned, her eyebrows might need their own zip code. This takedown wasn't just your average celebrity hot take. Jack Black went full School of Rock on America's most controversial political figure, and the internet is living for it. This is a time in history where everyone's got to get out there and plant their flag in what they believe in, Black explained during his appearance. If things go sideways, you want to be able to tell your kids and future generations, this is where I stood and I tried. I did my best to make my voice heard. While most celebrities tiptoe around politics, Jack Black dove in headfirst with zero regrets. He's sick of seeing Republicans claim rock and roll as their brand. All of a sudden, it's part of their branding of the electric guitar and Kid Rock, he said. I remember a time when rock and roll was almost exclusively Democratic. The man's not just throwing shade, he's casting a total eclipse. The roast was so epic, it probably set off alarm systems at Mar-a-Lago. Jack didn't just crack jokes, he came with receipts. He even joked about Trump possibly being at a Tenacious D concert back in '98, imagining the former president headbanging in the crowd. Stranger things have happened, he quipped. What makes this political stance so notable is Black's self-awareness about potentially alienating fans. When asked about wearing a hat reading "Make America Rage Again," a clever play on Trump's MAGA slogan, he doubled down. Some artists are afraid to get this political, the interviewer noted, but Black wasn't backing down. He believes this moment in history demands taking a stand. Naturally, this didn't sit well with the Trump household. According to reports, Melania is absolutely fuming, not because someone insulted her husband, but because someone accurately described him. Word is, she hasn't been this angry since they banned her Be Best-themed scented candles from the White House gift shop. Sources close to her claim she's tired of comedians turning her husband into a punchline, mainly because it means she has to pretend to care. Jack Black didn't just throw shade, he launched a full cinematic universe of mockery. It was like watching The Apprentice Oval Office Edition meets Insurrection the Musical. His takedown combined sarcasm with rock star delivery, and America gobbled it up like it was 2004 again. Twitter exploded, TikTok transformed into a tenacious dance floor, and somewhere in a corner, Rudy Giuliani was probably leaking hair dye while trying to understand what year it is. But just as the internet crowned Jack Black the patron saint of presidential roasting, Melania stepped in with her signature icy calm. Without the theatrics of a guitar solo, her presence alone seemed to say, "You can mock all you want, but you'll never be more than a background act in Donald's arena." According to her, Black's performance was less of a roast and more of a desperate audition for attention. "Mr. Black is very good at making noise," Melania reportedly said, her accent slicing through the fluff like a couture blade. But in her view, Donald has always been the main show and everyone knows it. While Melania might be playing it cool publicly, sources claim she's considering legal action. That's rich, coming from someone married to the king of frivolous lawsuits. But let's not forget the absolute poetic irony here. A man who spent years mocking, ridiculing, and insulting anyone who dared challenge him is now crying foul because someone dared challenge him. Oh wow. It's like watching someone slip on their own banana peel while calling everyone else clumsy. In a recent interview, Melania maintained her composed facade. "I feel good. We are feeling good. My husband, he's all over the country traveling, and as we saw Sunday evening, Sunday through the day was an amazing day and a lot of support out there." But behind that perfectly practiced poker face, insiders suggest she's seething about Jack Black's comments. The Trump base reacted exactly as expected, clutching their MAGA hats and posting Facebook rants in all caps about Hollywood elites. It's hilarious hearing people who worship a guy with gold toilets complain about elitism. The funniest part? Jack's criticism wasn't even that political. It was just painfully obvious observation. Like if Trump walked into a room and declared gravity a hoax, Jack Black would point at the ceiling and say, "Then float, you bloated balloon of broken promises." When asked if he was promoting his movie or trying to escape Trump, Black replied, "I'm here to promote Kung Fu Panda. I'm not scared of Trump. I'm a little freaked out by his people that are attracted to his rallies. I'm scared of his people, but I'm not scared of him. He's a pussycat." That's the kind of unfiltered honesty that makes Hollywood publicists reach for their blood pressure medication. The timing of Jack's roast couldn't be better. Trump is currently juggling more legal battles than a Law and Order marathon while still insisting he's the victim. He's out there on the campaign trail like a broken animatronic at a theme park haunted house, rambling, twitching, and scaring small children. And here comes Jack Black, stage left, to shout, "The Emperor has no clothes!" And what he does have is poorly tailored and deeply insecure. Meanwhile, Trump's inner circle is reportedly spinning this as a badge of honor, because when your ego is more fragile than wet toilet paper, you convince yourself that mockery means relevance. They're treating Jack Black's roast like it's some kind of Oscar nomination. Congratulations, sir. You've been publicly humiliated by a beloved comedian. That means people still know your name. Jack even suggested Trump might have stolen his act. I feel like Donald Trump saw a Tenacious D concert, because our whole thing is just like, we are the greatest band in the world. No one can touch us. We are the best. And he just saw us and said, I'm going to use that technique. But he took out all of the irony. It's like, no, I'm serious. I really am the greatest. And it worked. And now he's destroying the universe. The fallout from Black's comments triggered a domino effect in Hollywood, with other celebrities gleefully piling on. For a nation still in PTSD therapy from the Trump presidency, this wasn't just comedy, it was catharsis. Because Trump isn't just a former president, he's a walking, talking cautionary tale in a red tie. A political pop-up ad that won't go away no matter how many times you click close. And Jack Black, armed with wit, sarcasm, and zero tolerance for nonsense, became the digital fly swatter America didn't know it needed. Of course, MAGA Nation insists this is all part of a left-wing plot to cancel Trump. Because apparently if you make fun of a man who once suggested nuking hurricanes, you're part of a deep state conspiracy run by Starbucks baristas and gay penguins. The level of delusion is so high it could qualify for its own reality show, Keeping Up with the Confederates. The best part, Jack Black doesn't care about the backlash. He's not a politician. He doesn't need votes, donations, or validation, but Trump does. And Melania supports someone who sells $60 0-cents Bibles like they're limited edition NFT. He stands by Trump despite it all, believing he has more credibility in his vision than Jack Black could ever understand with his Hollywood sarcasm. In Melania's world, Trump doesn't need to read a room the way Jack does, he commands it. He talks about size, energy, and greatness because in her view, it's real. She believes the walls aren't weeping with joy, they're standing tall with pride. And if Trump mispronounces United States, Melania knows it's not about the words, it's about the message. Unlike Jack's punchlines, she feels Trump's sentences mean something, especially when they're about the country he loves. During a recent interview, she reflected on their daily life, and that we show our children that we are working too, to give them an example how life is, that they see us, that we are productive, that we have ideas that come to life. When asked if she says something special when Trump leaves home, she replied, I always said to him, be good luck and be safe. You never know what kind of phone call you will receive live and what can happen in life, right? Life is fragile and we need to enjoy it every day. With 2 recent assassination attempts against Trump, the interviewer asked if she feels God has a purpose for him. Melania maintains that in moments of uncertainty, God has a purpose for him. A mechanical machine that connects donors and Chryslers tied to Argos on Chawa caps. In the end, Jack's roast wasn't just about poking fun at a former reality TV host turned political figure. It was a public service announcement wrapped in sarcasm, dipped in truth, and served with a side of much needed humility check. Because let's be honest, Jack seems to believe Donald Trump isn't just a bad politician, he's a walking indictment of everything wrong with celebrity culture, ego-driven leadership, and a nation that once mistook shouting nonsense for strength. Jack's message reminded America that charisma without competence is just chaos in a poorly tailored suit, that waving your arms around and yelling tremendous 47 times doesn't mean you have a plan, it means you're doing interpretive dance for confused billionaires. Leadership isn't about retweets and tantrums, it's about decisions, vision, and at the very least, understanding how a map works. Trump's idea of strategy, according to critics like Black, is yelling witch hunt whenever he's caught, like a toddler trying to hide cookies behind his back while crumbs rain from his mouth. And calling everything fake news doesn't mean you're fighting the system, it means you fear facts the way vampires fear sunlight. Because deep down, one good fact might finally make the whole facade crumble. When asked if he might have influenced Trump, Jack laughed. I feel like Donald Trump saw a Tenacious D concert because our whole thing is just like, we are the greatest band in the world. And he just saw us and said, I'm going to use that technique, but he took out all the irony. So maybe Jack Black deserves a thank you for the roast heard round the Mar-a-Lago buffet table, where dignity goes to die and ketchup bottles live in fear. Thank you for using comedy like a scalpel to slice through the fog of political delusion. And thank you for making Melania blink, if only out of rage, confusion, or the sudden realization that even roasts taste better when they're not served cold and coated in denial. Because if there's one thing Trump seems to hate more than losing, it's being laughed at. And right now, Jack Black has the whole world laughing. As viewers replay his takedown on loop, many pretend it's the State of the Union address they deserved, delivered not by a politician, but by a musician who decided that sometimes the most patriotic thing you can do is speak your truth, even if that truth comes with a